Let's go watch it in 2D. No, let's go watch it in 3D. But if we watch it in 3D, then is it worth the cost?
Thanks to a system of satellites, we can control our weather.
The entire city block collapsed in Hong Kong late last night.
First hailstorm in history. You can see the damage and devastation of buildings and vehicles wrecked by the storm.
This wasn't a malfunction.
Hello, this is Adolf Vega from 3D or 2D.com, and today I'm reviewing Geostorm. Now, unfortunately, this is the section where I usually would review the 3D element, and the screening I went to yesterday was in 2D only. So, I have to make do. I'm not going to write a written review for this movie. I'm going to only do this podcast. So, this is it. And I'm not going to do a written review and watch it in 3D because the movie is not that great. And I'm not going to pay money to see this in 3D. I'm sorry. So, on to the movie itself. Geostorm takes place in the distant future of 2019. So 2 years into the future, recording this on 2017, October 19th. And there's really bad storms that are happening. There are extreme weather, hurricanes and hitting and super droughts. If you heard this before, it's kind of what's happening right now. So all the governments of the world decide to join together and make a contraption to control the weather. And they have like this net that goes around the entire planet. And these like satellites that have the ability to change the atmospheric pressure and the water temperature and change the weather to be less extreme. Now, it's kind of weird because some of these questions with the technology are just kind of glossed over. It says that it takes them 3 years to have it up and running. And so that takes place, it starts off in 2019, but then when the movie actually really gets going and they have this thing up there, it's an election year, which is 2024. So it's 3.5 years. So it's set a little bit into the future, but not a lot. And I kind of question that technology advancing that quickly to be able to have this. The technology they have in this movie is pretty advanced. So it's kind of a weird thing. I understand they wanted to set the movie into the future, which is totally justifiable, but they probably should have gone like 10, 15 years, 20 years into the future or something. It's kind of one of those catch-22s because I don't, if the world does have these disasters, yes, technology will find a way, but I don't think it'll be that quick. Anywho, so the movie starts off with Gerald Butler as Jake Lawson, who's going to a Senate committee, and he is, 2 weeks out from letting this satellite and space station and everything go from U.S. hands to the UN hands. Which is like, okay, if the whole world came together to make this thing, then why wasn't it UN thing all along? I don't know. So then something crazy happens, and they have to investigate. And, well, that's where his brother, Jim Sturgis, which is Max Lawson, is supervising Jake as Jake is going back into space to investigate this issue with the satellites and the whatever, because Jake invented it. And, the president tells him to go up there, which is Andy Garcia, President Andrew Palmer, and lo and behold, there's a conspiracy and sabotage. And, typical cliche action disaster movie, things go wrong, typical cliche action movie, predictable. Countdown happens. Typical action disaster movie. Romance. Typical disaster action movie. Cliche. One-liners. Some twists, some turns, and you get some occasional action scenes with the world being destroyed by tidal waves and cold weather and heat and so forth and so forth and so forth. It's all super cliche. It's all predictable. There's some of the twists and turns are, kind of okay. I was not expecting this movie to, I don't know, be as political as it was. But it's fine for. I just think it was kind of weird. Like they mentioned, the president is I don't know. It just seemed a little bit weird how they showed off the president, speaking, and I don't know. Something about the political aspect of this movie kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Not because I disagree with it or agree with it. It just seemed unnecessary. So, the disaster element, which is the main selling point to this movie, is not that well handled. There's a few here and there, and the visuals are nice, but they kind of go by kind of quickly. And obviously, most of the people that are going to die on screen, you don't know anything about. So they're just there to die, and you don't care about them. And the characters you do kind of care about them, in quotations. I don't like them. I don't like Max Lawson, or the president, really, or any other characters in this movie. I just don't like them. The main character, Jake Lawson, the inventor of the, thing to fix the weather wizard or whatever, he's terrible. He's a jerk all the way through. The movie does have a lot of action, and it flows well enough. You're not going to get really too bored. You might have, like, the action overdone kind of thing where you kind of get numb to it because it's so much action, and a lot of it is just whatever, who cares, So what do I say? This is all overacting. This is all silly. It's not like super silly and over the top, kind of like San Andreas was. It's more taken seriously, kind of like 2012 was, or Day After Tomorrow, and I just didn't like it. I just was like, I'm done with this. When is this movie going to end? And I don't care for this. I don't care for the characters. Every cliche you can imagine. The whole driving away from a, disaster, and like, rearview mirror, and then everything's going crazy in the back, but then people driving, they're fine. The whole city dog thing where there's like a dog that the camera zooms into, and the owner is there, and the dog gets scared, so it runs away, and then you're worried about the dog, and it's like, you've seen these disaster movies, you've seen them all. This one, the gimmick with the weather changing, okay, sure, I'll bite, but I don't believe the technology. They did try to explain it, but I just didn't buy it. So overall, I thought this was a pretty bad movie. And even for someone that kind of likes disasters and kind of enjoys some of these kinds of movies, I just didn't care for it. I don't like the characters. Thought everything was predictable, very cliche, and just bland. I just don't care. So I'm going to give this movie a 3 out of 10. So, yeah, don't watch it. It's not worth your time. I mean, if you want to watch it on Netflix in 6 months, there's nothing else to watch, sure. But there's not enough. They do try to have comedy, but most of it is just kind of dorky, lame comedy that just kind of rolls your eye. Kind of like, really, that's the best joke you do. So, Geostorm, thumbs down. It sucks. It's not good. Bad characters. Special effects weren't great. Not that interesting. Weather effects. Plot is not that. Is pretty cliche. So, meh. Alright, that's going to be it for me. I hope you enjoyed this podcast review of Geostorm. Which, for some reason, I was thinking of the car from the 1990s. But, Maybe they should have mentioned it, but whatever. That's it for me. Bye.
All right, so that's going to wrap up this podcast.
Remember to like, comment, favorite, subscribe, love, whatever. Heart it, do something.
3D or 2D.com can be found on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, and SoundCloud. And if you want to send us email, our email address is email3d or 2d at gmail.com. And thank you again for listening. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, everyone.